we're gonna give you the best exercise that you can use to increase your chest size and strength. And we're gonna start right now. All right, let's go into the 60-second breakdown of what our chest actually is and what it does. Okay, so when we're looking at the chest, we have to think about how our pec major communicates with our deltoid. So we know that the pec and the shoulder are gonna be responsible for shoulder flexion, but now let's try and look at each specific head of our entire pec major, which covers our entire chest. And if we look at how the pec is broken down, we're gonna have the clavicular head, which is going to be really what ties across the top, okay? Then we're gonna look at the sternal head, which is gonna be more the middle part of your pec, and then the costal head, which attaches to your ribs. So there's really three major parts of pec major. And so the actions of pec major are really going to be dependent upon which fibers are actually being stimulated when you're doing a specific movement. And so the fibers at the clavicular head are gonna be responsible for flexion of the humerus. So think about raising a glass, okay? If I'm going to raise a glass, that's humeral flexion, and that's going to be my clavicular head. Then the fibers that attach to the sternocostal head, okay, so more so the mid area and then the lower area, are gonna be responsible for extremity adduction, okay? And you can sort of feel that when you just go here, you can feel those fibers actually firing. Now let's get into three more key muscles behind building the chest, okay? We're gonna have pec minor. Pec minor could get really, really sore when you're doing very specific exercises, but a lot of people think pec minor is down here. Pec minor is actually totally underneath pec major, and it sort of drapes down this way, and if you're doing specific movements, which we're gonna show you later, you can get a crazy pump. And then those two other chest muscles are gonna be the subclavius and the serratus anterior. They're pretty small, they don't play a major role in actually building a huge chest, but we have one sweet exercise that's gonna help stimulate, especially the serratus anterior. So in all reality, the chest comes down to really one huge muscle, pec major, with various insertion points, and specific movement patterns will stimulate different fibers on pec major. So how can we filter through all these different exercises that we have out in the world of crazy global internet fitness and actually figure out what is the best exercise to build that pec? So we know that mechanical overload or mechanical tension can lead to a large amount of muscular growth, myofibrillar hypertrophy. That means we have to find an exercise that can get a substantial load. We also know that muscular damage can play a big role in actually getting swole. So that means we also need to focus on something that has a large range of motion so that we can do a longer eccentric and potentially get more muscular damage. And then finally, because we're focusing on the actual pec, we know that doing different angles is gonna stimulate different parts of pec major based off of how our shoulder and how our humerus is actually functioning. So angles play a major role in what that best pec exercise, chest exercise, is going to be. So for exercise 1A, we're gonna start with a Swiss bar, and we're gonna use a Swiss bar on an incline bench. Now, this is the first Swiss bar we ever had personally made at Garage Strength, okay? So this is one form of the Swiss bar. This is a second form. This is gonna have fatter grips. This is another one that we got made personally here, okay? This is probably my favorite Swiss bar. We also have three other ones in the back, and then we have this one on top here. This is one that we got from Elite FTS. So this is the one that we'll actually demonstrate on. This is another form of a Swiss bar that's cambered. Okay, so when we're on an incline bench, I wanna target upper pecs. I can't wait to read the comments where everybody says incline bench doesn't stimulate clavicular fibers in the upper pec. But I think you're completely wrong. I've never had an athlete not get sore in their upper pec, okay, in this range, stimulating these fibers from doing an incline bench. That's why I love to use it to grow that upper chest and shoulders. So in this case, I'm gonna put my hat off to the side like a total bro, and what I wanna look at is setting my grip here. Now, remember, one of those key factors is that longer range of motion. With a neutral grip, you can get a little bit more range of motion, and with the cambered bar here, you can clearly get a much greater range of motion, but you should really, really be careful when you're doing this. Now, I like to feel that big stretch at that bottom position, okay? Try to feel that as much as you can, and your triceps are gonna get targeted as well. Okay, let's get this set. Come down nice and controlled, nice and deep. Stretch, stretch, stretch the humerus, up. Stretch that upper back, pop. Okay, so that's gonna be the first key exercise. Okay, so now I'm doing 1B. This is a movement that I love to use for the serratus anterior, okay? And this is also a great pre-fatigue exercise. It's not crazy complicated. It's pretty simple to do, and you can feel a crazy pump from this. You're gonna use a little bit of pec minor as well. Now, I wanna hit this, okay, for about 5 to 7 reps, and I'm gonna rest about 20 to 30 seconds, and I'm gonna go back and I'll demonstrate back on the incline bench with that Swiss bar. Remember, we're trying to focus on the chest. Okay, so we're here, come in. Here, come in. So if I change my trunk angle here, okay, I wanna come down a little bit here. I have my hips down right now just because I wanna demonstrate, but I can feel that good stretch through my pec major, okay, and then back in. Good stretch, back in. And that's where, when we're lengthened, we're gonna really be targeting that serratus anterior, which is typically pretty hard to hit. Okay, let me switch sides. Try and feel that pec, okay? And one thing Charles Poliquin used to say is even when he would do flies, okay? If you're gonna do flies, he would actually target, instead of doing flies the traditional way here, is try and target the way the actual fibers are built, okay? Built into your body. So you'd actually do flies here. That's what I like to focus on when I'm doing that serratus anterior. Now, I'm gonna hit this. This is 1B. Rest about 20 to 30 seconds. Start to feel decent, and I'm gonna come back over here, okay? I have a pretty good pump in the serratus anterior, a little bit in that pec minor, and pec minor is one of those that when you start to get a pump underneath, you can almost feel your pec major starting to like grow just because it's underneath pushing up. Okay, so I'm gonna come back here. Let's watch that rope. Come down nice and controlled and try to really feel that pump. And that little pre-fatigue helps tremendously with that mind-muscle connection. One more, and leads to good chest growth. Okay, so this next exercise is going to be a close grip decline bench. And I actually like to use a closer grip for my pecs because of the stretch that we end up getting in regards to where our humerus is, okay? That's actually one thing. A lot of people will go super wide, but it doesn't lengthen the pec as much as if you have that closer grip. Now, I like using decline bench because of what it can do for the sternal fibers, okay? That's more like the mid-range, a little bit of the lower area of the pec. The other thing here is that when we're doing a decline, it's a little bit easier on our shoulders. I went about 8 years at our old gym at the barn of a test where we had a 25-pound plate under every single bench press. And so that just elevated the bench a little bit. It put lifters in a position where it would have a little bit less stress on their shoulders. It's something that I believe plays a pretty big role in actually keeping your shoulders healthy if you need to bench frequently, like if you're a wrestler or an offensive lineman or a shot putter or a discus thrower. So, close grip decline. I'm gonna be set here, okay? One of the other big factors is we also use a fat bar, okay? We like to use a fat bar. I also think that that plays a major role in saving shoulders because you're gonna get a little bit better high threshold motor unit recruitment, okay? Here, up, come down nice and controlled, feel that stretch, up. And then as you get fatigued, you can start to just wrap. Now, the only downfall is that the decline bench does decrease range of motion, okay? It's not as great of a range of motion in comparison to that incline bench, but it's still an excellent exercise to get a pretty heavy load on and grow the chest. All right, let's keep simple. That fourth big exercise. So we started with a Swiss bar incline, then we got into the serratus fly. The third exercise, close grip decline on the fat bar. Okay, if you don't have a fat bar, it's okay. Now that fourth key exercise is going to be a flat bench. Imagine that. A lot of people will still say, no, it's not that good, but think about the load that you can put on a flat bench, okay? You can get up to 500, 600 plus pounds. You can really, really load those fibers well. Again, I like to use a fat bar when we're doing this, okay? And I really like to go with that slow eccentric. So I can come here, Nice, controlled, up fast. One more. The flat bench is absolutely pivotal to building that chest strength and size. The flat bench is one of the pivotal exercises that we use inside of our app Peak Strength. And if you don't have access to a barbell, we've got something else that's perfect for you. So inside of Peak Strength, if you don't have that barbell, you can actually select and replace that barbell bench with dumbbell bench. I love doing dumbbell benches because you can get a little bit better range of motion, okay? If you hold that semi-neutral grip, if I have that semi-neutral grip here, okay, that's gonna help me really lengthen the pecs, and it's a little bit easier on my shoulders. Oh, one more, and I have to stabilize a little bit better. Oh. Now for both benches, I'd say go 7 sets of 7. That means you're gonna get pretty freaking swole and you're gonna get stronger. Tell me your pecs won't be sore. If you guys need help with your overall training, head over to peakstrength.app. You can download Peak Strength today for 7 free days of training. Thanks, Peak Strength. Okay, so this angle and range of motion have proven out to be absolutely phenomenal for chest recruitment and growth. Lauver et al. Had a research paper where they actually looked at flat bench, 15 degrees, 30 degrees, okay? And they tried to see on each angle, what type of stimulation did we see from the pecs? And at a 30-degree angle, they noticed that the sternal head and the clavicular head both got targeted, and at different ranges, it was targeted at a higher degree. So on the incline bench, which is what we're about to show you at 30 degrees, we're gonna get absolutely fantastic chest growth from strength and size. Now, when we get into that, I'm gonna give you a couple rep modulators that make this the absolute hardest chest exercise that will lead to the best strength and size growth. So this movement is going to be absolutely incredible, and I challenge you to do this for 8 straight weeks, okay? So right now, our sweet bench is around 45 degrees on an incline, okay? So we wanna lower this down to that 30 degrees. By the way, look at how worn out all of our benches are. I think we might bench too much. So now we have a 30-degree incline. We have our PowerLastic band, okay? So this is gonna set tension. I'm gonna show you how to use this. Okay, so we're gonna put this behind our chest. Okay, so now we have this set. This is going to really light up our pecs and a little bit of our triceps at the lockout position. All right, the next factor, I wanna do a 1 1/4 rep. Okay, there's some rep schemes that you could use where it's like a double barrel where you bounce at the top, you bounce at the bottom. Okay, we're gonna do a 1 1/4 rep, back down and drive back up. What that's going to do is it's going to lead to greater, higher threshold motor unit recruitment. We're looking for strength gains, okay? So that's gonna trigger our brain to recruit more fibers, which in turn will lead to more strength and size growth. And then finally, I wanna use a neutral grip. Neutral grip's gonna give me a little bit better range of motion. So I'm here, I'm gonna pick up, right? I'm gonna get set on the 30-degree incline. Knee is back up, and we go up. Oh, there we go. 1 1/4, up. So I have nice tension at the top, and when I'm here at the top, I really wanna think about squeezing my sternum with my pecs. That's pretty hard to think about in this locked out position, but keep thinking that the whole way through. 1 1/4, up. Squeeze your sternum, hug your sternum with your pecs. Up, one more, okay, so it's a nice controlled, got the band pulling you down, 1 1/4. Ooh, I got the pec pump right there, one more. Oh, yeah, that's good. So it's a neutral grip, 1 1/4 incline bench with dumbbells. The absolute best exercise that you can use to grow size and strength in your pecs. Now, you guys have seen how we lay out our upper body day based off of hypertrophy, or even if we're focusing on power. Okay, so you wanna do one main movement, light up that nervous system, and then get into that absolute strength exercise. Very, very rarely will I actually use a dumbbell pressing movement or a dumbbell movement in general as the main absolute strength exercise, very rarely. However, in this case, with the banded 1 1/4 dumbbell incline bench, yes, that's a mouthful and I can't wait to hear all the trolls. if you use this, okay, so you could do a PA press or a push press or a behind the neck jerk, something like that, to really get your nervous system rolling. Then you can get into the banded dumbbell 1 1/4 incline bench, okay, at 30 degrees based off of Lauber's study, okay. We can get into that and we can do 3 to 4 weeks where we go 4 or 5 sets of 7 and then 1 set of 12. That's gonna help really build a good base, and you're gonna understand and learn that movement really, really well. Then go another 4 to 5 weeks, okay, where you're going 4 to 5 sets of 4 to 6 reps. So we wanna actually try to push that weight pretty substantially, especially on an incline bench. Let's say you're using the 110s, 120s, 130s, something like that, with that band on as well. Then you can do 2 drop sets of 12 to 17 reps, and I promise you, if you do this for 7 to 8 weeks, your chest will grow phenomenally and your strength will skyrocket. You're gonna be able to have a better lockout from that band. You're gonna have better execution at the finish with your pecs and your triceps, okay? Because of the way you're thinking about squeezing and hugging that sternum. You're not gonna have that sticking point at the bottom because of what we're doing with that double bounce, with that 1 1/4. And you're gonna have better shoulder stability because you're using dumbbells. Okay, so really try this. It's going to absolutely blow up your pecs. So try this exercise out today so that you can get as swole as possible. And if you want other chest exercises, click on this video right here to help you get an even bigger chest. And if you guys need help with your strength training, you need something to help you with accountability. Maybe you need that little training partner. Head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. Download Peak Strength today to get 7 free days of training. Because remember, freaks, if you guys want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.